Your mortgage. It's probably the biggest financial commitment you'll ever make, right? But what if I told you that the way it's set up could be quietly draining your bank account? Today, we're going to look at how a few simple strategic tweaks to your loan can literally put a six-figure sum back in your pocket. Let's see how it works.
So let me just ask you point blank, is your mortgage quietly costing you a fortune? It's a really serious question, because as we're about to see in this real-life example, what you don't know, well, it can cost you a whole lot of money.
All right, let's dive into a real client story. This isn't just some theory from a textbook. This actually happened. So this client, they'd been with their bank for about 2 years. Everything seemed fine, business as usual, until it wasn't. Now, when they first got the loan, their interest rate was a pretty competitive 5.44%, and that's a solid rate. You'd feel good about that, right? You'd think, okay, great deal, I'm all set for the long haul. But then, the bank quietly, and I mean quietly, reduced their discount. And just like that, boom, their rate shot up to a shocking 6.91%. That is a massive jump that happened practically overnight with almost no warning. So, of course, the client pushed back. I mean, who wouldn't? They got on the phone, they argued, they negotiated, and the bank came back with a counteroffer. Now, this is where it gets really, really interesting because what the bank offered looked like a win at first. And this quote from our source material just nails it. On paper, that sounds like a win. And you can see why, right? You fight the bank gives in a little, you'd probably think, pew, dodged a bullet there. But not so fast. So, what was this amazing offer? The bank came back with a new rate of 6.51%. Okay, it's definitely better than that awful 6.91%, but, and this is a huge but, it's still way higher than the original 5.44% they started with. But here's the thing. An interest rate is just a number on a page. What does it actually mean for your wallet? Well, when you run the numbers on that so-called win from the bank, that 6.51% rate still added up to a total repayment of a staggering $1.17 million. Suddenly, that victory doesn't feel so victorious, does it? This is the moment where taking a breath and having a calm, strategic look at the whole picture changed everything. Instead of just getting bogged down fighting over the rate, it became about understanding that you have two powerful levers you can pull. Yeah, the interest rate, but also the actual structure of the loan itself. The new strategy was actually pretty simple. It boiled down to two key steps. First, go find a new lender who can offer a genuinely better rate. And second, and honestly, this is the part that's a total game changer, optimize the way you pay the loan back. So what on earth does optimizing the structure even mean? In this case, it was as simple as switching to fortnightly repayments. The whole idea is, instead of making one big payment a month, you pay exactly half that amount every 2 weeks. Simple. So why is that such a big deal? Well, think about it. There are 26 fortnights in a year. So with this method, you actually end up making the equivalent of 13 monthly payments instead of 12, and you barely even feel it. This chips away at your principal loan amount faster, which means there's less interest drag. Basically, the interest has less time to build up. It's a sneaky but brilliant way to shorten your loan automatically. Okay, we've laid out the problem, we've got the two-part solution. Now it's time for the big reveal, the results. And let me tell you, they are absolutely mind-blowing. This is what a $192,000 difference looks like. Let's just break this down side by side. With the new structure, right away, their monthly payment dropped by over $400. That's amazing. But the real magic happens over the long run. Look at the loan term. They chopped 5 full years off their mortgage. And the total repayments? I mean, that's where the difference becomes completely life-changing. The numbers here speak for themselves. And if you're a visual person, look at this. On the left, that's the total cost if they had taken the bank's deal. On the right, that's the cost with a better rate and a smarter structure. That huge gap between those two bars, that's not just savings, that's financial freedom. So, when all was said and done, what was the bottom line? A total saving of $192,396. Just let that sink in for a second. Almost 200 grand. Not from some risky investment, but just from being smarter about their mortgage. And this is just as big a deal as the money, if you ask me. The mortgage was completely paid off a full 5 years earlier. I mean, what would you do with 5 extra years of your life with no mortgage payment hanging over your head? That's incredible. So what's the big lesson here? What's the core takeaway from this whole story? It's really about understanding that your loan might be hiding its true cost from you, right there in plain sight.
And this quote from the source really says it all. A small rate change matters, but structure is what changes outcomes. Look, getting a slightly lower rate feels like a win, and it is, but changing how you pay that loan back, that is how you fundamentally change your financial future.
So, I'll just leave you with this one final, really important question. After seeing how a simple review uncovered a nearly $200,000 difference in this one case, what could a calm, strategic review of your own loan uncover for you? It might just be the most profitable hour you spend all year. Thanks for joining me for this one.